Once considered the pinnacle of prestige fantasy TV, Game of Thrones lost the lion's share of the credit it built up with audiences with its disappointing final season. But House of the Dragon, HBO's prequel spin-off, won back much of the respect its predecessor had squandered. Though a little pedestrian at times, the first season was a marked improvement on those last Thrones episodes, coming closer to the halcyon days than most had expected. House of the Dragon marching towards a bad ending. Even if late-stage Game of Thrones was something of a disaster, that didn't translate to a lack of early interest in Dragon. On the contrary, viewership figures blew HBO records out of the water, the Dragon premiere being the most watched all time from the network. It's no surprise, then, that House of the Dragon Season 2 was confirmed soon after that first episode aired. But interestingly enough, there'll be a shake-up at the top of the pile going into the second season. Thrones mainstay Miguel Sapochnik and co-showrunner on the premiere season of Dragon will step down for the sophomore block of episodes. While Sapochnik's departure was described as amicable when announced in August last year, Matthew Belloni of Puck News reported that the ex-showrunner bailed after a protracted standoff over his wife and her involvement in the show. His partner in question, Alexis Reben, was a credited producer on Season 1 and appeared in 4 episodes as Talia, a lady-in-waiting to Olivia Cooker's Alicent. The blow-up happened after HBO politely declined to keep Reben on as a producer for Season 2 according to the report, citing her inexperience as House of the Dragon Season 1 is Reben's only producing credit, according to 2 sources close to the show. The report further alleges that the network even brought in a mediator to try to de-escalate the situation, but to no avail, with Sapochnik eventually deciding to bail on the show. Here's everything else we know about House of the Dragon Season 2. Does House of the Dragon Season 2 have a release date? While there's been no exact date confirmed, new teaser posters of Olivia Cooke's Alicent and Emma, Darcy's Rhaenyra for Season 2 have revealed that the show will hit our screens in summer 2024. What will happen in House of the Dragon Season 2? Well, here it is. After a couple of episodes wherein Rhaenyra did everything she could to avoid civil war with her father's wife and ex-bestie, Alicent, her hand has been forced by the death of her son. Lucery's in the jaws of Aemon's dragon, Varga. Sure, it might have been a mistake, but it's a major point of no return, and war will result. What else? A whole lot of death and destruction. Bear in mind that the titular dragons are like the fantastical version of nuclear weapons, per Paddy Considine's analogy. As it stands, each side of the war has around an equal number of the beasts, but even one apiece is enough to destroy entire cities and encampments. It seems as though Rhaenyra's plan is to blockade King's Landing from the sea with the Velaryon fleet, while maintaining an aerial advantage in the skies. Perhaps easier said than done when the other side can assure mutual destruction. Elsewhere, she'll need to secure the backing of houses Tully, Baratheon and Stark, the latter of which Thrones fans will best know as the family of Eddard, Bran, Arya and co in Winterfell. We've already been down to Storm's End. Luke Trees was chomped resultingly, but will this mean that the series action will expand out of the confines of the Red Keep, Dragonstone and Driftmark? Condal, in a conversation with Variety, emphasised the imperative for the show to broaden its scope in the upcoming second season. While acknowledging the established home bases as integral elements, he highlighted an imminent war that would necessitate forging alliances across diverse kingdoms and armies scattered across the Westeros map. He clarified that the expansion might not reach the vast scale witnessed in the concluding stages of the original Game of Thrones. However, he intriguingly hinted at the introduction of new worlds not previously explored in the original Thrones series. In assuring the audience, Condal expressed confidence in the ample scope that lies ahead for the narrative. However, despite the expanded visual canvas, Condal has assured audiences that the second season will intentionally decelerate from the brisk pace established in Season 1, acknowledging the substantial groundwork laid in the inaugural season. Spanning 2 decades, Condal expressed his anticipation for returning to the familiar narrative structure reminiscent of Game of Thrones during a panel discussion. He conveyed his excitement about resuming the storyline and transitioning into the more conventional rhythms of storytelling inherent in the Game of Thrones universe. Furthermore, Condal contextualized the narrative stakes by characterizing the series as a Shakespearean or Greek tragedy, emphasizing the overarching theme of a house tearing itself apart from within. He noted that with all the narrative pieces strategically placed on the board, he is eager to delve into the next chapter. Specifically, he alluded to the absence of Viserys and its potential impact on the dynamics, stating, "Now that Viserys is gone, and no longer keeping a lid on things, I'm really excited to tell the next chapter, to see what happens." Another point of view. In another development, Sarah Hess, a writer and producer for House of the Dragon, tantalisingly hinted at one of George R.R. Martin's most chilling Westeros plots for the upcoming second season. In the aftermath of Lucerys' demise, Daemon vows retribution with the ominous pledge of an eye for an eye, a son for a son. This sets the stage for the unsettling narrative of Blood and Cheese, a plotline so macabre it is bound to send shivers down the spine of any well-versed Martin enthusiast. Careful not to divulge any spoilers, Hess emphasised the exceptionally dark nature of the revenge plot, even when measured against Martin's typically grim standards. During an interview with Variety, Hess confirmed that the gripping storyline is actively being incorporated into the script for the Season 2 finale. With an air of anticipation, she assured, "We are currently writing the finale. I don't think you will be disappointed.